Welcome to the Education Next podcast, where we talk to amazing people building amazing things. And, I saw your Twitter post and I was really interested in understanding what you're doing. And I saw that you're also talking a lot about traditional education system and the things that needs to shift. So I really got curious about what you're building. So I would really love for you to, introduce yourself and what you're doing and how you started this journey.
Yeah. Hey guys, super excited to be here. I'm Adrian Martinez. I'm 16 years old and I'm building InfiniLearn. It's like an AI-powered gamified learning platform. We launched a couple of months ago. We have over 1,000 users and we're growing very, very well. Um, I'm also trying to fix, I'm more of like an advocate for education as a whole as well. Like I post constantly about how their education system's flawed. I'm homeschooled right now, but I used to be in public school and I had a really bad experience there. And it just hurts me so much to hear others having these same stories.
And are you off the system? Are you still writing exams or you are self-learning? How's it going?
Yeah. Um, so I'm homeschooled. I'm a junior right now. I might be graduating early, still not sure yet, but fully homeschooled. I talk to a lot of traditional schoolers though, and I do a lot of research online. I literally downloaded the top 100 education apps on the App Store just to understand how they worked and to dissect what's good with them and what's not.
Mhm. Are you doing this all by yourself or do you have a partner or do you have a mentor? How are you doing this?
Um, all by myself. I'm so happy I have some amazing partners, but it's more on the investing side. Like I'm a local host fellow. I'm backed by Level Up Ventures. I'm backed by Meta as well. We have a collaboration with them. But on the
Congratulations.
development side and marketing side, it's all been by me.
That's amazing. And how this interest of building something in the education sector came to your mind?
Yeah. When I was in public school, about in sixth grade, like way back in middle school, I kept getting so far ahead and it was really, really frustrating. I was bored out of my mind in normal school. Like there was just nothing to do for me, and I wasn't learning anything. So my mom pulled me out. We did our own sort of personalized curriculum type thing, the homeschooling journey, and I absolutely loved it. That's where I learned web development, game development, coding. That's
Wow.
what led to this app. Um, and then I just kept reading of other kids' stories last year about like other people. There's so many other kids that just have the same stories and same experiences. And then they're just like, I tried homeschooling and it was incredible, but it's like super hard. And then when I saw all these AI models coming out, I was like, wait, we can bring this experience to everyone worldwide at like a scalable cost. And that's when I started building. That's what I truly think is incredible and the future of education.
So you started building this idea on your own and you started coding on your own. Were you learning from somewhere or this journey of coding and building app started?
Yeah. Um, a lot of people like use AI for like vibe coding and stuff. I think there's like a fundamental problem with that because like you're eventually going to encounter some problem that you can't fix, and then you're just going to have to go around it, and then you're going to encounter another problem you can't fix, and then you're going to go around it. And then by the time you launch your platform, there is going to be so many bugs and so many things wrong that it's like, okay, this platform is essentially unusable, and what did you build? I mean, for more complicated things. If you just want to make a simple website, that's fine. Go ahead, use AI, but like at least try to understand the concepts. Um, I learned web development first when I was 10,
Mhm.
literally from a book, just from a traditional book of, I don't
Oh.
remember the name now, but it was actually really, really good. I
Mm.
made websites for all my friends. Then I moved on to game development, where I just learned from YouTube tutorials online, just random YouTubers I found,
Mm.
and like the Unreal Engine documentation, published my game on Steam. Um, and then I moved on to mobile development, where I developed apps for Android. And I learned Android literally also from YouTube tutorials and from the Android documentation online. Then finally, when I moved on to app development, I also learned that from Apple's documentation online. And I gotta say, out of all of them,
Mm.
Apple's documentation is the best.
Amazing.
Really great to learn.
I mean, I am sure young people listening to you will really get to learn a lot from this conversation that we're having. And I'm so glad that uh, we had a time difference and still you managed to wake up and, you made this possible. So now that you're homeschooling, do you have like a community around who works with you? How do you spend your day otherwise? Like, how does your day go about usually?
Yeah. A lot of it is, of course, just sitting at my office working, but I actually think that one of the most productive things that you can do is just get up and take a break. Like I go on so many walks, and that's where all my ideas and all my like
Mhm.
bug fixes and stuff. Like if I have a problem, I'm not going to just sit at my computer and stare at my screen for 3 days.
Mhm.
Not for 3 days, but maybe even for 3 days. I don't know. Some bugs take really long to fix, but I'm not going to just sit down and stare at it because that is like the most unproductive thing you can do. Um, I just get up, take a walk. Um, I have a community as well of teen founders. It's called the Teen Underdogs.
Mhm.
Afterwards, you guys can just message me if you're interested in joining. It's like this really close-knit community, and we also have funding opportunities from one of our partners, Localhost.
That's amazing. And can if somebody is younger than a teen, can they still join? 11 or 12?
Sure. I mean, I'm not gonna be ageist against like we're like anti-ageist almost. We're like we want the young founders. I don't really care how young you are as long as you can like build something cool.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I also see now, I also asked you the question about do you have a community of homeschoolers or something like that that you meet, or uh, do you have a group like that around you?
Yeah. I have a friend group like that I do hang out with in person, but all my more technical friends and like founder friends are just spread all the way across the country.
So it's mostly virtual. Everything is your all communication is mostly virtual than meeting in person, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how, uh, like, if I can ask, how much time do you spend in a day working on your projects?
Oh, that's a big one. Easily 6 hours plus every single day.
Mm,
6 to 8 probably. Yeah, I spend a lot of this is like my big passion project, and
mhm,
I it's like something that's like when people say they need vacations, I'm just like find something that you don't really need a vacation from, and
mhm.
that's what my platform is. I'm just so happy to be able to actually like I'm making an impact, and like the fact that I'm here now just is like super exciting to me.
I think you're already talking like all the brilliant founders, that's what they say that, create a life where you don't need a vacation from, right? You're so passionate
Yeah.
that you don't worry about it. You just do it because you love it, not because, and how different it is from us, learning in school, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you're mostly forced, right, to do something. And I think that's where children get distracted. And so, do you miss going to a school, being in a normal school? And how do you think your life would have been different being in a school compared to the kind of life you're living?
Yeah, I'm actually not sure I would have been a founder, like, period, if I went to normal school. I have like the deepest respect for kids that are able to like even just survive through normal school because a lot of it is so monotonous to me, very repetitive.
Mm,
And yeah, that's really all I have to say. Like I don't I think my life would be like very drastically different and
mm,
I just would be focusing like entirely on my studies.
mhm. And are you missing, do you think you're missing something like, on any kind of social aspect that you would have had otherwise in a living in a school, studying in a school, the events, or do you think that it actually saves your time and helps you work more on something you like?
Yeah, so I think that school is like having a bigger community that you're less close to, and homeschooling is having like a much smaller community that you're way closer to. Like at school, you might have like 100, 200 classmates that you pass by every day, and then you're just like, hi, hello, hello, but you can't really interact because it's like you have 10 seconds to say hi, 10 seconds here and there to just talk to some random person. But in homeschooling, I still volunteer with my friends. We do a lot of that stuff at like church, and we still like hang out occasionally. It's not like I still do have like so I do have like a good aspect of my social life.
Hmm. And I'm sure, I think a lot of people think that, when you're homeschooling, you're just sitting in a home, right? And
Yeah.
you just have, you're just learning everything, the curriculum at home. But I think, considering that I've been learning about alternate learning and living since maybe 4 to 5 years now, I realize that all the homeschoolers and free learners that I meet, actually they are very comfortable talking to older people, younger people. And I think it's because maybe it's so it becomes so easy for them not to just talk to the same age group. Do you also think, believe that? How
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah. Most of my friends
Mhm.
are like homeschooled. We're just like chatting with people 3 times, 4 times their age, just perfectly fine.
And another thing that I wanted to ask you is, because you're building an app and you said that you have people and founders from different parts of the world now, and you are getting uh, you know a taste of real life quite early, right? I think in the school setup, what happens is you learn for a period of 17, 18 years, and then you go on to understand how people work in the real life, how they operate. But you are getting this kind of an experience quite early, where you have to ask help. I'm sure you get stuck in your projects. So how do you manage asking for help, working on your project, or collaborating? How do you manage these things? How do you network?
Yeah. Um, Asking for help. Almost everything I've figured out on my own in some way. Not that I don't ask for help, but like there's great forums online that you can post to. Stack Overflow is great. Literally, or just any social media. Just post whatever question you have, or even reach out to big influencers. I got like some influencers with over 400,000 followers to interview me just because I sent them an email and I just found their email off the internet. Like, don't be afraid to just ask. Just ask, 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 and you will eventually receive. Um, as for networking, I'm really social. I just love talking to like random people. And eventually, if something does come up, then I can go back and chat with them. But in general, I just like talking to people.
Yeah, I think the biggest myth of homeschooling is just busted right now. When you say that, people consider that homeschooling, kids, or people who are homeschooling, they are not comfortable talking because they don't get a social life like what you get in a school. So here we bust another myth right away. And like you say that, it's so easy for you to ask help and collaborate. You write to people, you network. And I think that says a lot about how your learning curve is so different from any other traditional way of learning, where you get all the materials and then you learn and just regurgitate, right, in an exam or whatever. Anyway, so how are your parents taking this, and how do they support your dream?
Yeah. My parents are like, honestly, they're just super thrilled to see me like just they want to see me like thrive in whatever environment I choose. Um, they're really they're supportive, like they'll take me places and stuff, but I still have to do all the coding, the marketing, design, etc., all that stuff.
Hmm.
But they're just very supportive as to my mission and what I'm building, and that makes me happy.
And how did you convince your parents that this is what you want to do? Because your answer might help a lot of young people who would really want to do this.
Yeah, so my mom just saw how much I was struggling in the traditional education system, and then she was the one who actually like who decided to like pull me out. So she was like thrilled when I was just like, Mama, I'm gonna change education, and then she was like, Yes, let's do it, let's go.
That's
So yeah, I think that if you have like a noble cause, you shouldn't be building for the money, honestly. Like if you're gonna just chase the money, probably go into law or
Mhm.
be a doctor, business, something else. But like if you want to be a founder, I think you need to have like a problem that you're specifically set out and trying to solve.
And how do you support your app, what you're building financially? Do you freelance or do you work for someone? How do you do that?
There are so many inefficiencies with like all these big teams with like multiple app developers and stuff. All that stuff you can really just do yourself if you try hard enough. Um, Freelancers, I don't think I've hired any
Mhm.
for the entirety of this project. I did logo design, I did the marketing, I did the actual app. Um, like we are raising a funding round soon to be able to onboard software engineers, but that's after we launch and after we have all this insane growth and all this insane visibility online.
And do you think that, of course, you had a different take on vibe coding, but do you think that with uh, AI now, it is easier for us to maintain a website, write your blog, create thumbnails or create logo, or do you think that AI, have you experienced that it works like your assistant, and now it is more, it is, there is a possibility for people to build a business with AI as co-founders or co whatever assistants?
Yeah. Um, See, it's like a tricky one because you can there's so many ways that it can just go horribly wrong. Be, um, if you're very careful, if you have like a specific simple thing that you want to do, I don't know, maybe freelancing, like making blog sites for people or making personal sites for people, just simple, really, really simple things, then I can see vibe coding being a great like alternative to learning how to code. Like you just prompt in whatever, you get your code and everything. But if you want to build like a full-on platform, I think that you should at least understand the basics. I'm not like fully against vibe coding. I'm just actively encouraging people not to rely like completely on AI for all their tasks. As for the co-founder part, I do think that we are going to have like, as YC says, Y Combinator, they're like, we're going to have $1 billion single person company in the next 10 years. And I do agree with that, like with the trajectory that AI is going. But right now, right now in its current state, I think it's good to just be learning about it.
I think that's the whole idea of having AI. As what I see is, just like you cheat an exam, right? If you just copy something blindly, it's never going to take you anywhere. But you need to understand, right, what plays where, and how can you use it as a co-assistant rather than just copying something out. And obviously, like you said, if you do not have any understanding, you're going to get stuck somewhere down the line, and then you would be, all trapped in whatever you have created, because it's not just generating something and then it starts working. If you have an understanding, you have to go and fix uh, the code or whatever you're working at, right?
Yeah.
So now it's the time that you share more about your app and what are you trying to revolutionize, what revolution are you going to bring. So let us tell us more about it.
Yeah. So the app is essentially Canvas, Google Classroom, Schoology, like a traditional LMS system. I hate referring it to as an LMS, learning management system, because they're all like so outdated and it brings such a bad connotation.
Mhm.
But yeah, a lot of people have told me that that's like the closest thing that it comes to. LMS system with gamified and personalized elements built in. To break it down, the gamified elements, they're in video games, there's a ton of mechanisms that they use to like encourage the students and to motivate them. Um, like this thing called XP, experience points. You pretty much, it's like a number that you just gain when you do something that physically gives you experience. So in the app, this translates to if you completed like a lesson, you get 5 XP. And then it's just like you complete another lesson, you get another 5 XP. And then you're like, you get a multiplier because you did 5 lessons in a row. And then it's like a number that represents how much experience you've gained. Great for motivating students because it's like a physical thing, or not physical, it's still virtual, but like an actual actionable number that you can show off. We have a leaderboard that students can like compete with each other in, classroom globally. We have streaks, so kids can be encouraged to complete their lessons every single day. Quests, so they can do it with their friends. There's so many systems for keeping the students super motivated and engaged and happy. As for the personalized side, the AI side, there's an AI. chatbot, or not just a chatbot, but sure, chatbot called Guide. It's like an AI assistant that learns and grows with you. Unlike other AI systems that just don't have any context of you, Guide will understand which lesson you're actively working on, and it
Mhm.
also understands what grade you're in, how much XP you have, what classroom you're currently working on, if you're doing a quest with your friend. It knows all of these learning things that about you that I believe are necessary to make an AI actually feasible for education. And of course, it's Socratic, so it won't just give you the answer outright. It'll actually make you walk through the problem, and
Mhm.
it's going to help you figure out. It's not just going to give you the answer directly and like just plagiarize and help you cheat.
Yeah, and so is it like a grade level thing where you complete this and you're promoted to a different grade? Does this work like that? Like it works in Khan Academy where you can choose to answer questions from different grade levels, and like if you choose to do maths, you can choose your grade level and start answering that, and then you have explanations, and then you answer some questions, and then you go get promoted. Does it work like that?
Yeah. So we launched with just math originally, for K through 12, but teachers can create their own classrooms. They can sign up and they can upload, or they can't upload like directly to the platform, but they can create their own classroom, add students to it, and then they can just learn directly from there.
That's nice. And how are the models? Like, is it paid or is it free? How does that work?
Oh, the app is completely free right now. There's a optional paid subscription. It's 29.99, but it really right now the main focus is on the free version because right now I'm just trying to get more users, more growth. Um, Only real power users should, and I'm saying this as the founder, only real power users that like actively hit the limits of InfiniLearn should need to pay for the pro plan. Right now, the free plan is plenty for everyone. Like you get nearly unlimited messaging with Guide, which is not available on like pretty much every other AI platform.
Mhm. Yeah, you mean the chatbot part is missing in most of the AI platforms?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very similar, sounds very similar to what Duolingo has, right? Where you have these quests and you have these challenges, and you have to keep a streak, and it's gamified, right?
Yeah, Duolingo's great.
Right. And so now that you are building this, and do you have some other project as well, or this is the only project that you're working right now?
Um, I mean, I post online about like a bunch of random stuff I do, but this is my main project overall. Um, I mean, I built a VR headset for fun, honestly, because I was kind of bored. I built some smart glasses also because I was a little bored. But aside from that, this is like my main project that I'm absolutely committed on.
That's cool. And now that any young person listening to you, and your journey looks amazing, right? You started around when you were
Thank
10,
you.
right? You started exploring around when you were just 10. And now you have taken it to a different level, right? You're building something for anybody who would like to learn, any young person who would like to learn. So, and these myths that we have around homeschooling and unschooling and whatever, that, you don't get to have more exposure and stuff, but you seem to have all the experiences that any tech founder would have, all the struggles and everything that you're facing on your own. And I think it needs a lot of resilience, right, to face. I'm sure that there might be days where you might be like, why am I doing this? Do you this is the first question. Do you feel that, are those days, where you feel like, what am I doing? And the second question is, what do you think that young people uh, like you, who would be interested and maybe on the fence to start something like you, what advice do you have for them?
Um, if you set out that you want to be a founder and you're like actively trying to find a problem, I don't think that's the best way to approach it. The best founders are always people who have who are like in a specific area, and then they identified a problem that actively needs solving. They're not people that set out to solve a problem and are trying to find some problem that they can solve.
Okay.
And as for like how do I deal with setbacks and resilience? I've had plenty of setbacks. Like when I was first starting this off, I
Mhm.
pitched to over 70 investors, VCs, etc. I got rejected from every single one
Wow.
because I didn't have anything. Like I just drew up some sketches and I was like, "Can you please give me money?" No, investors will not give you money based off your sketches. Or I mean, at least the ones that I did. Um, anyways, um, yeah, I got my YouTube channel banned a while ago. I have it unbanned and stuff now, but like when I launched, I only had about 3 users until I completely pivoted away from schools into like independent schoolers. There was so many things that like went wrong that eventually led to it becoming like this amazing thing that it is now.
And I'm sure that, when you start something, it's just experiments, isn't it? It's all experiment. You never know what really kicks, right? You started a lot of things. Maybe you start a YouTube and you start writing, you build something, and then suddenly something happens, around the universe, and some you find something and that thing works for you, and then you start. I mean, this is the trend. I study a lot of tech founders, and this is the trend that I see, that they have experimented a lot. They were ready to fail, and it was not necessarily one, that they started and they got successful. There were so many
Yeah.
things. I see that trend here as well, and I totally think that it's really amazing. And um, so just give me a few lines or a few words of advice that you have for young people, and also tell us who else would you like, you think I should talk to next. Do you know someone, founders that around your friend circle that you think I should talk to?
Yeah. Advice for other young people building, I would say don't be afraid of your age. It is like your age is your superpower at this point. Like it sounds a little backwards because then it's like the older people have like college degrees and it seems that they have more connections and established in the industry. But like if you can prove that you can work side by side and even surpass them in some occasions, you'll get the respect you need regardless to go out and achieve whatever, like really whatever you want.
Mhm.
Um, as for other people you should talk to, I would recommend talking to Zelda Poem. She's also deep into education if you're really interested. Um, she dropped out of high school. She made her own book. It was very successful, and now she's starting this program called Nautilus. Um, over the summer where like 12 people are gonna be in a not I don't want to say a hacker house, but in like a super creative
Mm.
type house in San Francisco. And I was actually one of the 12 people selected to be a
Wow.
part of the cohort. So
Mhm.
I'm very excited for that.
Oh, so you're looking forward to that now.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I have spoken to Zelda, not recorded, but just what she was doing maybe 2 years back or something, when I think she was experimenting with a lot of things. So yeah, that's a great suggestion. I would love to go back and have a recorded podcast with her as well. And all the best to you. And I think you're doing something really amazing. I would really love to catch up more. When you have more updates or something that you would like to share with our audience. So thank you so much for being here and sharing so much. And all the best to you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Bye bye.
Bye.